Hi, how are we today? So, the last time we looked at the importance of choosing the right business name for your products or services. We also looked at the business plan, which is a key working tool, especially for small startup businesses. And we identified the different legal structure, but we did not really look at what each legal structure is about. So today, guess what? We are now going to look at the different legal structures individually, and we are going to start with the sole trader. But first, let us remind ourselves of all of them. We have the sole trader, we have the partnership, we have the limited liability, which is LLC, can also have Jamaica at the end or international, and we have non-for-profit organization as well. But let's start with our sole trader. All right. I hope you are ready. Hope you have your pen and paper ready to take notes. Okay, so our sole trader really is owned and in most cases operated by the same person. The sole trader, with the sole trader, there are no legal distinction between the owner and the business. No legal distinction between the two. In the past, in Jamaica, we used to use the BN1 form, but now we have the new super form, which is the AF, AFR1, aka super form. And this one form is used for all registration. Doesn't matter the legal structure of your business. Now, I want for us to walk through the advantages and disadvantages of the sole trader. With the sole trader, the process is quite simple, it's quite easy. In terms of completing your application form, all you need is your ID. You can get a proof of address, and you only need a proof of address if your ID does not have your current address on it. If it doesn't have it on it, then you need to get a utility bill. If you do not have a utility bill in your name, the utility bill that you're going to use as proof of address needs to be accompanied by a letter from a JP to verify, to say that yes, this person is residing at this particular address. Another advantage with a sole trader is that a sole trader is quite reasonable to register. Registering a sole trader at the Companies Office of Jamaica is only 2,500. Let's look at some of, so it's quite inexpensive. The process is a bit faster. I'm not going to go down to tell you exactly to say how many days now, because in the past, before the new super farm, it was 3 days. All the registration now is taking 10 days for the process to be completed. However, we have been informed that very, very soon they will go back to what it was before, which will be 3 days. Good. Okay. Some of the disadvantages now with a sole trader, of course, let's go through them. All right. And we're going to start with one. If the business fails, creditors can access your personal items, and that's not a good thing. But everything comes with its disadvantages and its advantages. You cannot have Jamaica Limited or International at the end of your business name. It's just the business name, full stop, and you cannot add anything else to it. Okay. Now, the another thing that I would consider a disadvantage with a sole trader is that with sole traders, you register to do a particular service or to sell a particular product, you have to and must and should stick with what it is that you have registered, because you have registered to be a nail technician, then it's best to stick within that. Also, for some services, let's say a nail technician, for example, you need to be certified before you can be registered at company's office, or else you will be rejected. And we don't want something like that to happen. So it's always important whenever you're registering a business to find out what the requirements are, especially as it pertains to the services and the products that you will be selling. What will be required of me? Will I need to be certified in this capacity before I can be registered at company's office? Okay, let's look at the partnership. Partnership, when you think about partnership, you think about more than one person. So, of course, a partnership is a business with more than one person. And the advantages and the disadvantages are the same as the sole trader. The process is just as simple as the sole trader. The requirements are the same. However, you need the same information from all the partners. So you would need a copy of the ID. You need the person's basic information, their name, address. You need to find out, you need to decide on you need the name of the business to complete the form as well. You need to list the service that you'll be offering or the products that you will be selling. The turnover time for registration, when they get back to what the system was before, which was 3 days, give and take, of course, if there's a rejection and you have to go back through the process. A partnership would take the same 3 days as a sole trader, and it is only 2,500 to register a sole trader. Looking at the disadvantages, they are just the same as the sole trader. There are no legal distinction between the partners of the business and the business itself. It's just one entity. It's just you and the business, and that's it. There are no separation, no legal distinction between the business and all the partners. It doesn't matter how many partners. And as I mentioned earlier, the one form is now used for all registration. It doesn't matter the legal structure of the business. Now, the LLC, and I don't know, but I just love LLC. With a limited liability, it is also known as a company, a limited, or as I mentioned before, you can add international at the end of it. So it's very versatile. It's flexible, and LLC can also own a group. When you have an LLC, the LLC can own a group of companies. A LLC and an individual can also register a partnership. So as I said, it's quite flexible. If you are going to have a group of companies, however, you need to justify why is it that you will be registering it as a group. So you have to do a justification. The LLC, let's walk through the advantages of the LLC. You have to do a declaration, and this is signed by a JP. Also, you have to appoint a director and a company secretary. As a director, you can also play the role of a company secretary, but you must have another director. One person cannot, and let me repeat, cannot register a limited liability. You must have at least two persons, company secretary and the director. Again, you can play the role of both, but you must have another director. If you do not wish to have another director, appoint a company secretary. All right. Um, let us walk through the advantages. The company have a life of its own. It has share capital, have directors, several products and services can be offered, and you can have a group. Disadvantages: a lot of information is required to complete the form. No margin for errors. If you did not dot the I and cross all the T's, I can tell you with this that it will be rejected and you'll have to go back through the entire process in terms of doing whatever correction and resubmit it to company's office, and then you will have to wait for the process for that process to be completed again. All right, it's expensive to register. While while a limited liability, no, while a sole trader or a partnership rather is only 2,500 for registration, a limited liability is $24,000. Then there is a stamp charge for $500, and if you want certified copies of your articles of incorporation, if you're looking at another 1,000 something, so in total you're looking at 26,000 something dollars to register a limited liability. What you'll find that some startups do is that they will start by registering a sole trader or a partnership, and as time goes by and the business develops, they will close that partnership or the sole trader. If they want to keep the name, they will write a permission letter to company's office giving themselves permission to use the name to now register a limited liability. If one cannot afford to register limited liability when just starting, then that's what they'll do. But once you can afford it, and this is what you would want to register, I would suggest that you go ahead and register limited liability, because at the end of the day, it's going to cost you more to register a sole trader or a partnership and then having to pay the money to register it, pay the money to close it, and then to register the limited liability. So if you can start with the limited liability and this is the one that best suits your products and services, then go right ahead. One thing I must also tell you is that when choosing the legal structure of your business, because this is what we're talking about today, think about the products and services that you will be offering and ensure that you are choosing a legal structure that best suits your needs based on what it is that you will be selling to your customers, and the kind of protection and flexibility that you want in place. All right. Now, going back to the disadvantages, um, a lot of information to complete your form, no margin for errors. A JP has to sign the declaration. It's expensive to register. It has to have a company secretary, and the registration process takes longer. Right now, straight across the board, 10 days for registration, but they will go back to what it was before. So I have been told by company's office that they will go back to the 5 days. But as they work into the new form, and annual return must be done yearly. So yearly meaning the anniversary date of your registration, you must do your annual return. What I did not tell you, however, about the sole trader and the partnership is that you do a renewal every 3 years for your sole trader and your partnership. And this I would consider an advantage because you don't have to be going back to company's office at the anniversary of your business for each year. Every 3 years, and that's it. Once you're late, though, people will be charged $100 per day for late fee, and the annual return is $5,000 for the annual return. Okay, when you are filing your annual return at company's office, and we're not talking about taxes now, we're talking about company's office, you need to properly complete the 19A form. And this is the one you use and submit, you complete and submit to company's office at the anniversary of your business each year. Good. Now, so we went through what the advantages and the disadvantages of the sole trader, the partnership, and the limited liability. I don't want for us to seem selfish, so I'm going to speak about an association, like a non-for-profit organization. And a non-for-profit organization, I'm going to touch on it a bit. It is somewhat similar to a limited liability in terms of the cost. The process is a bit more tedious. Currently, you have to register at company's office first with the limited liability. Please take note, with the limited liability. But you register without shares. If it's a non-for-profit, by right, you're supposed to register without shares. Then, what you do is that you would take it to the ministry to have them remove the limited. Why are you doing this? Because you want to be exempt from taxes. You will then have to do 2 publications to publish in the paper. The ministry will give you the go-ahead for the removal of the limited. You'll then have to take it back to company's office. They will remove the limited, give you the updated certificate, and then you get the exemption from the tax office. I am hoping that the session was good for you. It's always fun for me because I enjoy sharing information. I enjoy sharing what it is that I know, and I want to see more small businesses start off on the right foot, and I want to see not only to start off on the right foot, but to be a success. Next time, I'll share with you some startup tips. Enjoy starting your business. If you need help, call C&E Innovational Services Limited for help. 632-2564. Have a wonderful day.